Bringing you a live lift from the shores of Lake Vermilion. I'm Bailey Warfield, and this is The Lift. Well, hello and welcome to Tomassoni Tour headquarters here in Tower. One day of bike riding is behind us and one day is still ahead. We survived a few sprinkles, a little bit of wind this morning, but overall it was a pretty comfortable morning to be out on the Mesabi Trail. Just under 100 riders hit the trail today. If you are not familiar, this is the third annual Tomassoni Tour. It's a bike ride along the beautiful Mesabi Trail and, most importantly, a fundraiser for ALS. So you should be seeing a QR code on your screen right now down in the corner. That will be up throughout today's lift. If you scan it, if you take your phone camera out and scan it, it will take you to my fundraising page. Never Surrender is a great organization, and if you feel moved to donate, it would sure mean a lot to everyone here. We are trying to raise $300,000 this weekend, and we are very close. So let's kick this off with someone who bears the same last name as the race's namesake, Dante Tomassoni. How's it going?
Hi, Bailey. How are you?
I'm doing well. So you rode the full this morning. So that was what, 60 miles?
52-ish.
Oh, okay. Okay. How did it go for you?
My legs hurt. They hurt.
Yeah, we were all feeling a little sore when we got back here this afternoon. So will you just sort of set the stage for us about how this race came to be, or not race, it's a ride, it's not a race. We're told that over and over. But how it came to be named after your dad.
Sure. So Todd Lauer is one of our Iron Range friends who is suffering from ALS, and we worked with Never Surrender when my dad was sick with ALS. And during my dad's career, one of the kind of his tenet philosophies he took on, not only protecting the economy we had here up in the Iron Range, but also diversifying it. And he knew we had these beautiful areas and trees and lakes that we could enjoy. And so the Mesabi Trail was actually one of his projects that he thought he could use funding and his efforts at the Senate to create this nice long bike trail for people to enjoy the Iron Range. And so Todd kind of put two and two together with the Blizzard Tour that Never Surrender has going, and not everyone has a snowmobile, and bike races are popular, or bike tours are popular. Yeah. and Todd had this idea. He said, you know, Senator Tomassoni put so much effort into that trail, and now we have an opportunity to do kind of a fall bike ride. This is a great way to raise ALS. Ironically, my dad, one of the things he said to me before he passed is, he said, Dante, I have a lot of fundraising momentum in my life from my career, and I'd really like something to continue on, but it to be for ALS. And so it kind of all got wrapped into this tournament, or this tour.
Yes, yes, that's so cool. So we're on year 3 now, and it's gotten bigger every year, almost 100 riders this year. What do you think he would have to say about seeing how this is going?
Well, he was interesting when it came to getting credit for things. Like, he would shy away from that part, but I think he'd be very proud that we're doing a good thing to help other people. And that was honestly his primary philosophy as a legislator. If he ever doubted what he could do in the legislature, it was, can I help people with this decision? And that I think he'd be very proud of.
So I know part of Never Surrender's mission is to support both the patients and their families who have ALS. So as a family member who has gone through this with your dad, how important is that support?
It's hard to describe. You know, we were chatting before the show that, you know, sometimes there's well-placed F words that hit live TV. I won't say it, but it is a miserable effing disease. Yes. And that's about the only time I can feel it's really appropriate. It is such a horrible disease. As a family, you're confused, you're scared, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to handle it. It impacts every patient differently, but ultimately people get paralyzed from the neck down, and it's really terrible to deal with. So the funds that Never Surrender put together, that all the ALS community puts together, and it happens all throughout the country, it helps families not only cope with the financial burdens, but the informational burdens, how to handle things, where to seek care. There's a community of advice you can use, and Never Surrender was a big part of that for our family. And that's why ever since my dad passed, we've been really committed to helping this fundraising effort.
What does give you hope about the future of ALS and treatment?
A couple of things. Not only the momentum we're gaining through fundraising, but one of the things my father did, literally from hospice. In fact, I think my wife was running his cell phone to help get the bill passed. It was a $20 million bill. There hasn't been anything that large in the United States history, a state bill to cure ALS. Well, this last year we kind of took a look at how the funds were being distributed, and my father's intent was we have two of the best research facilities in the world in the state of Minnesota, in the U and in the Mayo. Right. And so we actually got that money moved directly to them to work together to create an ALS research center. And so now there's enough funds so we can have some of the best doctors in the world like working nothing but a cure. And so the hardest thing about ALS is patients die before you can get a true chance to research on them, and so, or to find out what it is. And so with the funds that you get from charities, sometimes they go to taking care of the family, sometimes they go to care. You never know how to distribute that. And my dad he looked at it and he said there was no significant movement since Lou Gehrig was diagnosed. And so I'm going to do my best to make sure a family never has to suffer again, and that's where that $20 million came from.
That's amazing. Well, it's been fun riding with you. Good luck on day 2. We're going to be even more sore tomorrow, I think. Thank you so much, Dante. Taking a look at what is happening now, the Lake Superior Zoo has trading cards, and you can collect them all. It's part of a new program called Conservation Quests. The zoo will periodically launch new challenges. For everyone completed, you can earn a card. There are 15 animals featured on them, like Danny the capybara, one of the lift's favorites. This was made possible with a gift from the Charles and Carolyn Russell Family Foundation. And if you love the library, tomorrow you're invited to celebrate with the Great North Star State Read Together. It's a statewide effort. In Duluth, people will get together to read at the main downtown library branch and Chester Bowl Fall Fest. The library will have a table at the festival with some giveaways, and they'll also be selling t-shirts to benefit the foundation. Well, coming up, a heavy hitter is standing by to talk about how he got involved with this ride and why it is so important to have statewide support in the fight against ALS. Well, welcome back to our live lift from Fortune Bay here in Tower. This is home base for the Tomassoni Tour. This guy is a big part of making this event a success. So Terry Steinbach, always fun to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We didn't have the best weather today, but we made it just fine. How was your ride?
The ride was great. We didn't get any heavy rain on our ride. We got a little bit of light sprinkle mist, which was actually not bad. I think I'd rather have it a little bit cooler than smoking hot.
Yes. So there's a full distance. Those folks rode a little over 50 miles today. We rode about 26, yes. I think, for us. So, yeah, it was beautiful. So last year, I believe you went straight from the Tomassoni Tour out to Oakland to throw out the first pitch at one of the A's last games in their home stadium. Is that right?
We did. It was, you didn't think a situation like that would be that emotional. I'm just going to go out to the first pitch. And then you get out there and realize, man, my whole career that I spent in Oakland, and this is it. There's no more of this, no more of that. And we actually did a real cool thing. Unplanned, all of a sudden, there was our stadium operations director had little jars. And I actually went to home plate, and I know the groundskeeper there. His name was Clay. I said, Clay, I'm taking some dirt, because you know how the fields are immaculate, right? Right before the game. Right. I'm down and I'm scooping dirt into my jar, and I go, Clay, you'll fix it later. Don't worry about it, But no, it was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I did it, and that we could do both that weekend.
Absolutely. So I know you're also involved in a couple Never Surrender events. How has it been to see the Tomassoni Tour grow in its third year now?
Oh, it's fantastic. We were just comparing numbers, how long it took to hopefully reach this amount on the Blizzard Tour, and here we're doing it hopefully in the Tomassoni Tour in 3 years, and to see the involvement, and it's so cool just to see the different aspects of how they work. We believe that the Tomassoni Tour, the bike ride thing, is really a family deal. We can have husbands and wives and everything out there, and kids, and it's really neat that you can be riding your bike, visiting with you, go up a little bit, talk to someone else, drop back a couple things, and not a race. It's just a beautiful ride through just a gorgeous trail.
Yeah, it really is. So remind us what got you involved in the cause of ALS.
Yeah, in 1999, my dad died, of ALS. And so, again, didn't really know much about it. Lou Gehrig, you think being a baseball player, we knew about it and what it was, but didn't have that connection. Then my dad was diagnosed, and then he passed, and then he's not here today because of COVID. But Kent's dad died the same thing. We're both in the Twins organization, so we got involved with stuff. And I talked to David Colquist 25 years ago. I think he came and said, "Hey, we just something you want to be involved in." And that happened to be a snowmobile ride at that time. I said, "Sure," and we drove up there, and it was one of those winters where it was a thunderstorm, and Mary and I almost turned and went around. I'm going, "No way, this can't work." We went there, and I was embarrassed because there was they raised like $35,000 that one of the first years of the Blizzard Tour without snow. And once we saw the involvement and the dedication of the people and the staff and the commitment, we said we're in, and we haven't missed an event. Matter of fact, we've joined events, with the tour and the fishing and everything else. So it's been an incredible run.
Yeah, I was going to ask, why is Never Surrender in particular an organization that you like to devote so much of your time to?
Again, because of my dad, obviously, but we're very excited of the direction that we're going with this, and to see progress being made. I think Dante touched on a little bit since Lou Gehrig, there hasn't really been much done, and the stuff that Senator Tomassoni got to pass for us was astonishing. And to see our doctors and to have our doctors come to these events and tell us the progress that they're making and tell us the things that are happening is very exciting. And I always steal Kent's words. He said, when we get a cure for this, Target Field's wide open. We're having the biggest party to celebrate that we finally figured this thing out.
Oh man, I'd love to be there. That would be amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Terry.
You're welcome. Thank you for your help in ALS.
Yeah. Yes, we'll have fun riding again tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, don't go anywhere. This year, the Historic Properties Tour in Duluth is a West Side story. We'll get a sneak peek inside one of them when the lift continues. Well, the Duluth Preservation Alliance is holding its annual Historic Properties Tour, and this year it's going west. We sent our William Lean to learn about these architectural accomplishments.
There are homes and landmarks across the city of Duluth that are well over a century old. The Duluth Preservation Alliance has protected the architectural past for several decades in the hope of inspiring future generations to appreciate local history.
It doesn't have to be mansions in Duluth to do a beautiful restoration. And when you look at some of the houses that are in the process of restoration, you might get some good ideas about what you can do on your own house.
This year, the Duluth Preservation Alliance is turning their attention to West Duluth for their Historic Properties Tour, calling it the West Side Story. Folks can step inside 6 unique properties that showcase the character, craftsmanship, and charm that help create the identity of Duluth's West Side.
Our tour this year, which is, by the way, I believe our 45th annual tour, is focusing on any buildings west of Lake Avenue. There'll be 5 homes and then 2 buildings. And we wanted to showcase some of the architecture all around the city.
Bob Berg has been part of the Duluth Preservation Alliance for nearly 40 years. He says people can go on these self-guided tours and explore 4 historically significant homes, the Denfeld High School Auditorium, and an early 20th century movie theater.
This is one of the buildings, will be the Alhambra Theater in West Duluth, which has been magnificently restored by Bob Boone and a lot of volunteers. But it was Bob's vision to do a restoration on this. And it'll also feature Denfeld High School and then the auditorium of Denfeld High School, which is also magnificent. If people haven't seen that, I think it's really important to preserve a lot of our history. It's a shame when a lot of our buildings are torn down due to neglect or due to just tearing things down and building something new. I'd much rather see them restore the buildings that were there, which is the greener way to go about it anyways.
Each of the stops on the tour offer a glimpse into Duluth's architectural past. Tourists will explore both interiors and exteriors of these buildings, along with learning the stories that brought these communities to life. People may even see homes in the beginning stages of historic restoration. The Spirit Valley neighborhood has 2 movie theaters built right next to each other, the West Theater and the Alhambra. Bob Boone, the owner, says the Alhambra was a one-of-a-kind establishment 100 years ago.
But it was built for vaudeville and photo plays, and that's what they called the movies before they called the movies was photo plays. The Alhambra was open from 1913 to 1930, the Roaring '20s. Flapper Bar is absolutely the feel of this cocktail lounge.
Several states, including Minnesota, have statewide initiatives to restore downtown neighborhood movie theaters. According to Boone, classically restored theaters contribute to maintaining a sense of community.
The Alhambra was the last ornate theater built in Duluth, and all the rest of the really old ones have been demolished. I think it was the first theater built in West Duluth as well. And it's Victorian in nature, and it was built in 1913. And it was all done by 1930, which coincidentally is right after the Great Depression started.
If you are unsure whether or not to have your home or business on the Historic Properties Tour, Bob Berg says don't hesitate to offer a chance for people to learn about local history, even if you are in the middle of a restoration.
You get a good idea of what they're working on and how they're going to achieve some of the preservation that they're going to do. We try to encourage them, have it on the tour because it'll show what it looks like before you're done, and then have it again in 10 years from now.
So neat. Back to our Tomassoni Tour programming after this break. This cause is near and dear to one rider's heart because he's living with the disease himself. Well, it was so great to be back on the Mesabi Trail today with Todd Lauer. Todd, thanks for coming back on the lift.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How was your ride today?
Ride was awesome.
It was really nice. We didn't have too much rain or anything that I was dreading, so.
No, someone did see a bear today, and the only thing I saw was a ground squirrel.
Me too. That's it. We saw bears last year, but so you have ALS yourself. Will you tell me just a little bit about what this disease has looked like for you?
Well, for me, it started in my arms and continues to affect my arms and my shoulders. I don't have a lot of strength in my shoulders and arms anymore, but my legs are still really good, which is great for biking, right? Yeah. I ride the adaptive trike because if I tried to ride a regular bike, I would fall off.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, and it affects you because I've had to retire from 2 different jobs. I've had to do whatever I can to, I guess, make sure my family and I are able to float the boat and live, right?
So in what ways has Never Surrender supported you and your family?
Well, Never Surrender supports all the ALS patients, right? So they provided me with the bike I ride through a grant to Northland Adaptive Recreation. And then also they provide equipment to all of the ALS patients in the equipment loan closet, right? So if you need something, if you need a walker, if you need a wheelchair, and you're at the ALS clinic, they give it to you right there. They go upstairs, and Never Surrender rented a spot in the mall that they go upstairs, and that's where the equipment is. It's all dry, ready, nice. They get it downstairs and give it to you right there. And the other thing is the trials and expanded access program. Now, I've had the disease too long to be on a clinical trial, but I'm on my second expanded access program, and that was all funded by Never Surrender.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
We talked a little about this last night, but just seeing this event grow and seeing more people get involved with it, and you had a great metaphor for that. Will you tell me a little bit about that?
You mean the elephant?
I do.
Okay, so I think of ALS as like an elephant, right? And everybody knows how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. And everybody who buys a ticket, everybody that rides, everybody that participates in some way, everybody that volunteers is all taking a bite out of the elephant. Some people take bigger bites than others, but everybody's taking a bite out of the elephant. And sooner or later, we're going to eat that elephant all gone, and we're going to find a cure.
Yes, we are. And apparently we're having a party at Target Field if Terry and Kent have anything to do with it.
Oh, I'm in for that.
It's going to be a great time. Well, thank you, Todd. We are pulling for you, and we love you and your family. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, you know our plans for the weekend now, but producer Megan has a few other weekend events for you when we come back. Well, this weekend is going to be plenty busy for me here up at the Tomassoni Tour, but let's see what else is happening around town.
Setup for Bentleyville starts this weekend. It's the 22nd season. Hundreds of volunteers are needed to transform Bayfront Festival Park. You can head down there on Saturdays and Sundays and Wednesday evenings too, now through November 9th. No experience is needed and there is something for all skill levels. Sign up to let them know you're coming on Bentleyville's website. And tomorrow, the Twin Ports will walk to end Alzheimer's. The route goes from the deck to Fickers and back. It's about 3 miles, but you can turn around anywhere along the lake walk. The event puts a focus on fundraising. So far, collecting $133,000 of that $185,000 goal. It's not too late to sign up or give. Plus, a dog show this weekend at the Superior Fairgrounds. The head of the Lake's Kennel Club puts this on with the Lake Minnetonka Kennel Club. Perfectly pampered pooches are vying for the title of top dog, but it's going to take more than just being cute to win. Judges are looking for something called the breed standard. Dogs are judged on their shape, their walk, quality of their coat, and even temperament. The dog show continues through Sunday.
Oh, plenty of good stuff happening this weekend, that's for sure. Tomorrow we get to bike 25 more miles and we finish, Renee, in downtown Chisholm, which is going to be really fun. They're actually shutting down a few blocks of the street for us to finish right there downtown. And you know we're hanging out with good people because they knew my show was almost done and this is what got handed to me.
That sounds like a perfect end to the day. What a great job you guys are doing up there at the Tomassoni Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and good luck
so
tomorrow.
Much. We've been having fun.
Yeah,
Thanks.
all right. Okay. And Justin, we want them to have decent weather tomorrow.